this dwelling place, your body, a stable and sweet place for the indweller within. You are the Vastu, the being, the indweller which shines, and your body is the Vastu. Your body is the dwelling. It is that which allows the Vastu within to shine more. So, with a chair or something similar, lie down with your legs elevated. Take time to settle in if you need extra cushioning under your body or on the propping. If you need something under your head because your neck is arching, your chin is lifting up, or you feel any kind of stress or overwhelm, you can prop under your head. If you want a blanket over you for warmth or feeling protected, you can do that as well. And then once you've tended to all of the needs of this dwelling place on the outside, we'll go inward. You can bring your knees toward your chest and hold your knees. And then slide your hands over to your left knee. Hold your left knee and lay your right leg down. Cup your left knee in your hands and push your knee away from your chest. And hold. And you're going to check your alignment here. Line yourself up. That is, your knee should be in line with your left cheekbone earlobe region. You are holding your leg away from your chest, whether you're holding your thigh or around your knee or on the top of your knee. Your hands and arms are providing all of the support so that your leg can be in this particular angle. And once you've lined up, you let go. Your hands and arms are holding, but everything else lets go. So we are going into the realm of Muladhara Chakra here, the very root of your spine, physical and subtle spine both, all at the same time. This is the place where you, the Atma, the self, first become established as a being, is down in Muladhara Chakra. This is your very first Vastu, your very first dwelling place. But sadly, every time we go into fear, worry, insecurity, instability, this Vastu, this region at the root of your spine, this dwelling place, becomes tight and restricted and rigid, constricted, and there's no sweet space at all. So holding your leg here in a way where your leg feels stable and supported. This particular angle, as long as you're letting go, will create a very deep release in that region, that root, where there will be letting go, opening, unfurling, releasing. And this dwelling place will be a sweet space. Another breath here. And then you can bring your knee toward your chest and bring your other leg up and hold both of your knees. Don't pull or force, just support. your knees side by side here. Let your shoulders soften toward the floor. And feel on the inside. Is there more sweet space on one side? Can you abide in that space more? Are you more embodied in there, down there? And then we'll switch sides. So hold your right knee and lay your left leg down. Cup your knee or hold your thigh. Push your knee away from your chest. First, check the angle here. You know, it's like checking for a stable, sound architecture. And so, what is the architecture here? It is that your right leg is in line with your right cheekbone, earlobe region. If your spine was the center lane, your right leg is in the right lane. And then you support. So your leg can remain in this angle without straining or using tension to hold itself here. So you hold your knee or around your thigh, even your pant leg. But once you've established all of that, your hands and arms are holding your leg up. Your leg is utterly free from effort. Your pelvis is free from effort. And that is where the magic will happen. With your leg in this angle and your hands providing the support, your leg will lean. Your thigh bone is leaning into and through your hip socket and into those tension patterns, this long held condition of gripping. And under the weight of the head of your thigh bone here, these tensions will soften, let go, unfurl. This is a true hip opener. It's not really a hip opener, it's a pelvic opener. We are not stretching ligaments. We are doing deep softening, releasing deep in the center line of the body here, particularly in the region of Muladhara Chakra, way down at the root. That is your first home as a soul in this body. Your first Vastu is that Muladhara Chakra. So let's soften it a few more breaths and make it a sweet dwelling place within. And then on your next exhalation, you can bring your knee towards your chest, bring your other leg up. Let's see how it feels to have both sides unfurled. And then back to the first side. Hold your left knee, lay your right leg down. Push your knee away from your chest and give yourself a pause here, right back where you were. So your hands are holding your leg is truly and utterly free from effort. And you're going to guide your knee across the midline of your body just until your knee is pointing to the opposite cheekbone. And then on your next exhalation, bring your knee inward toward your chest. Don't full force or pull. Your knee pointing to the opposite cheekbone, or if there's any pulling or stretching or straining or discomfort in the region of your pelvis or hip or groin, you can shift the angle. Your knee can point to your nose. bring your attention into the region of your right leg, your upper right thigh around groin and hip crease, and the back of your hip, that whole region of your right upper thigh. Let that region soften more. Soften your right hip crease and belly, right side of your groin, back of your right hip. And then let that softening spread over into the left side, softening your left hip, belly, your left hip crease, and groin. The softening process is really very internal, and it might be subtle, but it's very real. And then you're going to bring your knee, guide it toward the left again. Bring your other leg up, hold both knees for just a moment, and then hold your right knee, lay your left leg down, cup your knee with your hands, push your knee away from your chest. Pause here so your leg remembers how to be free from effort. And then you can freely move your leg. So guide your knee across the midline of your body till your knee is pointing toward the opposite cheekbone. On your next exhalation, coax your knee in toward your chest, stopping at the edge of the edge of the edge. And then you're going to remain here, or if there's any pulling or discomfort or straining, really anywhere in your hip or groin, then shift the angle so your knee is pointing toward your nose. Your hands and arms are providing support. Your leg is letting go. Your spine is letting go. And with this angle, we are reaching into the region known as Svadhisthana chakra, in the region of your sacrum. And do you know that the meaning of Svadhisthana is the sweet abode? It might not feel so sweet when it's tight, maybe even rock hard, restricted. So we're going to soften and open up this dwelling place, this Vastu within, the sweet abode of the sacral region. And then you can guide your knee again to the right. And then just lay that leg down next to your other leg for a moment and abide here in Shavasana. We've just done some very deep release for your pelvis, the root, and the sweet abode above it. So before you jump into what's next, let yourself inhabit, you, the Vastu, the indweller. Let yourself move in, move downward, inward, and expand. Fill in the space. that dwelling of your pelvis. This is your dwelling place. And then bring your knees toward your chest. Hold your knees, roll over and curl up. You could put a blanket under your head if you like. Give yourself a pause on your side. And then push yourself up. And find some blocks for Anjaneyasana. Or lunge. And we're going to carry the release process into the region of your psoas here. And so come onto all fours with your hands on the blocks and bring one foot forward. I'm going to start with my right foot forward. You can back your hips up before lunging forward. Back your hips up, but don't go so far back that your foot lifts. So your front foot should stay planted. So just back up a little bit. And then raise your right hip, or whatever hip is connected to your front leg, raise it up and then lower it down again. Do that a couple times so that you imagine that you're plugging your sit bone down into the floor. Keep your elbows straight if that works for you. Keep your sit bone down and then lunge gently, slowly forward about halfway, whatever half is for you. Once you're there, align your wrist beneath your shoulders and your ankle beneath your knee. And let your neck and head soften down. Now, to stay here without thrusting further forward, to stay in this kind of midway lunge, you're going to put a little bit of pressure into your hands like you're going to back out of the pose. So put a little pressure in your hands. Keep that pressure in your hands. Let everything else soften down. Let your neck and head soften. Let your whole spine kind of soften downward toward the ground. Let your hips and groin soften downward, not forward, downward. Keep the pressure in your hands. And finally, if you'd like, you can tuck your back toes under, then soften whatever muscles you use to do that. If when you soften your toes untuck, then just let them stay untucked. Keep the pressure in your hands and let everything soften down, down, down toward the ground. To come out, you can push into your hands and push yourself back. Come onto all fours again, then you can untuck those toes. And we'll do the other side. Bring your other foot forward. Keep your hips back, though your front foot should stay planted. Keep your hips back. Raise your hip attached to your front leg. Raise that hip in the air and then lower it down. Do that a couple times. Imagine that you're plugging your sit bone into the floor. Keep it plugged in. Lunge about halfway forward. And then once you're there, align your wrists beneath your shoulders. You can scoot your toes forward or back until your ankle is beneath your knee, and let your neck and head soften down. And then again, put a little bit of pressure in your hands, like you're going to back up. A little pressure. Keep that same pressure in your hands and let everything soften downward. So you're kind of like an icicle dripping in the sun, melting downward, not forward. Really melting downward and melting inward. Keep the pressure in your hands. Everything else lets go. And then if you like, you can tuck your back toes under. Whatever muscles you use to do that, relax them. If your toes then untuck, that's okay. Just keep them untucked. Easy breathing, sinking downward, keeping that pressure in your hands.
That pressure in your hands is providing the stability. Something has to provide the sthira so everything else can let go and be sukha. And to come out, push into your hands. Push yourself back. And we are going to sit. You are the one who shines, the divine presence, the dwelling place, the Vastu. When it is sthira and sukha, is the perfect sanctuary for the indweller within. Abide in your dwelling place and shine.